Hello and welcome. I'm AJ.
Alex.
This is NTVN New Tech Vintage Nerds. Today we're going to talk about social media, the good, the bad, and especially the ugly. All right. So before we jump into our main topic, what did you 3D print since last episode?
What did I 3D print? Actually, I created my own camera mount for my shitty 3D printer
Oh, okay.
because this doesn't have any. And there were a number on Thingiverse and Thanks.com and whatnot, and I all disliked them. So I decided, you know what? How about I just go to Tinkercad and I tinker myself something that I like?
Yeah.
And I did, and I'm fairly happy with it. So it's I mounted it to the top of the gantry. It exactly fits my camera, obviously because I designed it myself, and it works like a charm. So I'm very happy with it.
Oh, cool. Did you upload it to Thingiverse as well?
Not yet, but I'm planning to.
Oh, okay. Well, I only printed a lot of Gridfinity bins. We started cleaning up and organizing our woodworking shop. So I think I printed about 25, 35 bins. The one by one and two by ones for screws and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
So the printer took all night and day to poop out those boxes.
Very good.
Yeah. So it's I hope we get to it this weekend to clean up a bit because it's a mess.
Oh yeah, I know how my garage looks, and I'm afraid yours is probably worse.
Yeah, it is. Well, let's see. We're going to make a picture, and then next time we'll talk about it.
No.
So with that out of the way, social media.
Yes.
It's a hot topic. We all know social media like Twitter, X. We all know Instagram, Facebook. Probably not everybody knows Mastodon, but what's your thought on social media in the sense? Because I use it for pushing my personal agenda forwards, not always sharing, oh, look what I ate this day today, and look what I cooked, and look what I put on a barbecue. Well, I do that. But anyway, I use it more like a marketing vehicle for my, let's call it personal brand. But I know you have a bit another opinion.
Actually, I try to avoid it as much as I can. That's actually the short conclusion, I guess. I've got an X account, formerly Twitter. I've got an Instagram account. I don't think I've ever used it. I've got a Facebook account, which I only use mainly to stay in contact with a couple of friends and to follow a couple of Facebook groups that I'm interested in. I've registered to Mastodon. I think I used it once. I do not have a Pinterest account. I do not have a TikTok account. I do not have a Threads account. And I'm not planning to create them either. I use LinkedIn professionally. I've used LinkedIn since the very beginning. And the network that I have on LinkedIn is fairly large. So that's beneficial for me professionally. But I'm not a very big poster on LinkedIn. I'm just connecting to people and look what they do, where they are, what their current employment is, etc., etc. But I'm not a huge article sharer, article typist, or whatnot.
No, the same goes for me. I collect people on LinkedIn, people I worked with, people I'd like to work with in the future, and the other category. But also, I'm more of a lurker instead of really engaging. I know we work for a company that I'm not saying pushing, but they want us to use it more. Like, look what we do as an organization, and share that with all our contacts on LinkedIn. I well, I have an opinion about that. I mean, where does marketing stop, and where is pushing your message a thing? Because
I'm not in what's it called, in employment of our marketing department. So
yeah,
I I used to do that. I used to push those articles, but I stopped doing it. So professionally, that is. Um, in terms of personal use, well, I mean, let's address the elephant in the room. The biggest problem of social media is it's not social.
yeah,
Rather
anti,
it's rather asocial than
yeah.
it is social, and this has to do with the users that are on the different platforms.
No, it
Uh,
has the potential for antisocial behavior.
well, it has the potential for any sort of behavior. The thing is that a lot of people think that because of some form of anonymity, they can throw any values and any respect that you basically have for another human being overboard, and just can be a plain old son of a, exactly,
Yeah,
and just go out and yell at everything and anyone, and insult everyone, and threaten people with bodily harm or death or whatnot. um, it's insane, right? And
yeah,
that is not the aim of the platform.
yeah.
Is
But
it the platform's problem? Is then something that you could ask yourself. Personally, I think it is. Back in the day, when social media wasn't a thing yet, we just had forums and all kinds of chat groups, and you
yeah,
had a thing that was called netiquette. The way you behave on a forum like or chat like place. And there were moderators that were actually in charge of doing or maintaining netiquette, making sure everyone stays true to the previously agreed to rules. And that is someone who is, well, not so much employed by, but at least working for the platform where he's a part of, to really maintain those rules. And this is where I think Musk and Twitter or X or whatever you call it, but also Facebook just fall short on. And you
yeah,
could say that. I mean, where does filtering start, right? When is it filtering? When is it behavior? And when is it censoring the content? And I agree that it is a fine line. I mean, an opinion is an opinion. An opinion does not mean it is insulting. And the freedom of speech is a big thing. Then again, the freedom of speech is the freedom of insulting, right?
yeah,
Specifically, if it's a personal thing. So there's that part. That's the one side of the equation. The other side of the equation, and this is something I'm personally a very big well, not well, I'm very opposed to it. Let's put it like that. Is the fact that all those platforms are free, and nothing is ever for free. And do you know that everybody probably and on the internet knows the saying as well? If it is for free, you must be the
yep,
product.
yep,
And you are, specifically with, well, maybe not so much Twitter, but I can't tell that. But Meta owns Instagram and Facebook and YouTube and whatnot. And well, YouTube is Google. Well, anyway, um, they own so many platforms. They own WhatsApp, and they collate all that info together, and that they sell your information. So in my opinion, the lesser they know about me, the better it is, right?
yeah,
Because I now have to pay people to get my information off of the internet.
yeah. Well, I think you say two good things. Well, more, but let's take out two. Um, like social media, it's really, what is it? You want to share something with a select group of people. And select, I'll put in quote marks, air quotes, because when you blurt something out on X, would you call that a select group? Well, I
No.
don't think so. You're just like you're on a town hall and you shout into a amplifier and everybody hears your message. On the other hand, there are platforms like Reddit, and no, don't go to the front page because that's a total garbage. But there are subreddits where there's actually an etiquette. There are actually moderators that um, make sure that everything there is human friendly. Let's don't call it man or woman friendly, but human friendly. So it's uh, I think it is, what do you want to do with your social? Are you really trying to be social like some Reddits or subreddits, or are you just making sure that everybody can vent his opinion without any boundaries? And I think that the latter, it's dangerous because people will follow you that have the same mindset or that are triggered by your comments. That's why you get the bubbles where everybody thinks the same. Group dynamics kicks in,
Yeah.
and that's dangerous. I know. Also on the positive side, if you have a group in, let's keep calling a subreddit, everybody will adhere to the netiquette and will tell everybody don't do that. That's also group behavior, group dynamics. So it's also scary. That's my belief anyway, because you see that in certain countries that nudity is frowned upon. Anything that is not religious has a bad name. So, and
Yeah.
the group dynamics work even within the subreddits or in the Twitter groups or in the Facebook groups. So I'm not sure if it's a social media problem. I think it's a problem with humanity that we don't. Uh, what was the James Bond movie called? Live and Let Die.
Yeah, well, it means live and let live, obviously. Yeah, and it's the topics to avoid traditionally, sex, religion, and politics,
Soccer, sorry.
football. Um, yeah, honestly, I mean, if you are in a subreddit where the topic is, I don't know, home automation, how can it possibly go into a direction of either three, right? I mean,
Yeah,
you've got a combined hobby, and you can be a dedicated Christian who goes to church every Sunday, or you can be a total anarchist and still have the same hobby, right?
yeah,
Um, and you can exchange ideas and information, and maybe you do different stuff with it. It doesn't matter, but when you can share the hobby, that's no problem. And as long as the hobby is the topic, I don't see a problem. The thing is that as soon as a discussion is derailed, that's where the problem lies, right? That is
yeah,
where the incidents occur. That is where people start yelling freedom of speech, where it is actually freedom of insulting.
yeah. Keyboard hero.
Yeah, a lot of those are, keyboard jockeys, keyboard heroes. I'm not one of those. Right?
No,
I am who I am. I'm generally pretty firm in my beliefs, but then again, I do not have the desire to defend them every 20 seconds.
no,
So, and hence I steer clear of most social media because, well, it doesn't bring me anything.
no,
Basically, that's what it is.
no. I agree to a certain point, because the Facebook groups obviously are also social media.
Yeah,
and those can be useful. Like I'm in a couple of 3D printing groups and in some home automation groups, and there are people that share a lot of knowledge. I'm even in a crockpot group, so I know what recipes I can make with my crockpot. So
Yeah.
it it can be useful.
It can be beneficial, and I'm happy to share some recipes or stuff with specific groups. And I'm a member of a history group from my city, and I see a lot of people post pictures from 1800s and 1900s from the city I live in, and that's very nice. That's very nice to see. And sometimes my birth home is even on it, so that's something I like,
Yeah,
right? And that's what I use the group for, and some of those groups are music related, and you learn something new, some new music that you haven't heard before, some new artists or whatever, and that's fine. I mean that's what I use it for, but I do not share any personal information, and I admit directly that I used to, right? A couple of years back, almost every evening I posted whatever I cooked into certain groups or something. Sometimes just on your personal account, and basically, and then that I think that is a true thing. Um, Someone just said to me, "Why would I care what someone cooked that evening?" And I thought about it, and I was like, "Yeah, actually, you're right. I mean, why do I post that?
yeah,
What do I hope to gain from it?" And that was one moment when I just thought about, what, I'll just stop posting that stuff because it doesn't benefit anyone. It just gives the platform new ammunition to gather information on me,
yeah,
and I don't want that. Period. So that's where my limit is in terms of social media interaction. And like I said, I don't use Instagram at all. I don't use Mastodon at all. I don't use Pinterest at all. I think I've got a Reddit account, but I can't remember ever using it. I have never ever logged on to TikTok. I use Discord now and again, um, mainly because the Turing Pi board that I own, where I'm tinkering with, um, a lot of that the users who also bought one are on the Discord group, and I had some interactions via that the direct website, and there are no people there. They are all on Discord. So if you've got a question, you simply can't. You don't get an answer because nobody's reading it.
yeah.
Contrary to the Discord server where I got a million answers. Right. So okay, I'll take Discord then for that, but also very limited. And that is what I use it for basically.
Yeah, I think I do the same. Even though I have a Reddit account and a Discord account, I try to avoid putting all kinds of information into that. I mean, Discord I use because Midjourney, where we talked about one episode before, um, it you need Discord to create your own images, or you could
Oh,
use the public server from Discord, from Midjourney. But I don't like that. I want it in my own channel. The feel of privacy, it's not, but the feel of privacy. It's a big company from another country, so what privacy?
probably not. Anyway,
But the same goes for images. I put images on Instagram, but I do that with a goal in mind. I want to build up my brand about images, pictures, mid-journey, and things like that. So if you want to do something, you want to let people know that you are there, then you have to tell them. I mean, I'm the last person to admit that I don't go out on a town hall and say, "Hey, look at me, come here." Yeah, so
no,
that's not going to work.
no,
So,
it's not.
but you have to. let people know that. Well, I'm not going to say that I'm an authority on those areas, but I want some people to come to my website, to my blog. I want some people that say, "Hey, I need a video. Can I hire you?" Yes, you can. But that's where I use it for. Show my work, and
We should insert a commercial for you.
well, we could, but I have to pay it, right?
Of course.
Yeah, no, no thanks. No, but um, I use it for that, and the same goes for when we had a blog, VM Guru. I used that to put out all the Twitter. Then it was Twitter. Yay! All the messages, all the posts that we did were automatically posted on Twitter and
Yeah.
Facebook and stuff like that. So it's an ideal mechanism to.
Well, back in the day, it wasn't as harmful as it is now. It wasn't as big as a mess as it is now.
Well, the last, yes, it
At least
wasn't.
I wasn't aware of it. Let's put it like that. Then.
Yeah, that was what I was going to say. Um, so, yeah, is it harmful? Yes, I believe so. Um, Especially when you don't have the training, air quotes.
Yeah.
Where do you stop? When do you stop? Are you going to post your social security number on Twitter, or your PIN code for your credit card, or
Might as
your
well shoot yourself.
sorry?
You might as well shoot yourself directly.
Well, I know people in our country from the ministry posted uh, pictures with their Zoom link in screen. So
Yeah, and then people got wind of that, and then actually typed off the Zoom link, and then logged on to their session.
yeah, so I wouldn't say that social media per se is bad, but you have to know where you can use it for and what companies do with your information. If you don't know anything about company or that you don't know what they're going to do with your data, please keep it to yourself.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, and even if you say, "Well, I don't care," please keep it to yourself. So it's not really about the bubble or the data, and it's just think about what you're going to post and why you want it. I mean, I don't want it to be the commercial. No, I'm not sure if there's something like that, but the yellow pages that only you have are commercials or ads for companies. I mean, it's going to look like that, like AOL in the past. But on the other hand, there is some interesting and useful information, like we said, in groups, but also our municipal posts information on social media about when will we collect paper for recycling or stuff like that. So there is some useful, but on the other hand, yeah, there's also a lot of garbage.
Yeah, I think so. But I mean, it also, and that is partially, I think, a community or well, maybe it's a generic problem. Is where do you get your news from? What is and what is news? Right, some stuff that you see passing by on the various channels on social media. Is that news? Is that real news? Is it not? Is it? I don't know.
Yeah, I agree.
How do you get a news, right? How do you distinguish between what's a load of BS and what is not? How
Yeah,
do you make sure that you get the right information, or maybe I don't know. How do you filter the information that stuff that you like versus stuff that you do not like?
yeah. And
And that,
even if you filter, perhaps should read the news that you don't like, because if there's only news that you read that affirms your belief, uh,
oh yeah,
that's also not good.
definitely, definitely. So you have to make sure basically that you do not get caught in your own bubble.
Yep.
right? So, and that is your own responsibility. But then again, you see a lot of people who do not take responsibility at all when they use social media, and that is, I think, the biggest problem. It's well, it is the platform because it facilitates, but it's also the user
Yeah.
or the
Uh,
abuser.
yeah. I think people shouldn't be allowed on social media unless they did some formal training. Just like, well, here in the Netherlands, anyway, you have to do your to get your driver's license with all theoretical information and practical stepping into the car before you're allowed to drive on your own. Perhaps we should do something similar for social media.
Yeah, get your computer driving license.
Yeah, exactly. We do have something like that in Europe, EDC something.
Yeah, it's a bit of a joke though. Although I do think that some people would benefit from it.
Yeah, you don't mean me, right?
No, 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 no.
Oh, luckily.
I wouldn't dare.
So, social media good, social media bad. What's your take now after almost a half an hour?
Almost half an hour. I still think it, well, in doses. Be aware of what you're sharing. Be aware of what information you fill out. I completely emptied out all the profiles. I do not fill anything in profiles anywhere anymore. Watch out if you register at a web page or at a social media network. Just watch what is really required here and what do I want to share,
Yeah,
right? And if it's not required for you to interact with the platform, don't fill it out.
nope, nope.
Nobody on that platform needs to know your date of birth, the city you live in, your address, your email, your phone number. They all do not need that. It's just information gathering. So, when you fill out a username and a password and maybe a registration email address, that basically covers your access to the system. Everything else that you share voluntarily, I'd say don't share it.
Yeah, well, I agree. And if in doubt, then don't share.
You can better not fill it out and then get a warning this is really something you need to fill out, then fill everything out and then share all kinds of information that do not add any value for you to the platform, and does give a lot of benefit to whoever is exploring that.
Yeah, and even if you get the warning, this is mandatory information, think with yourself, is this something that I want to share with a stranger on the street? Um, let's say, do you want my phone number, even though you don't know the person and it is look a bit well scruffy? If no, not you. So, but if that's something that you think of, then don't share it on online, because when it's out there forever.
Exactly. Please, please, please note that there is a difference between having nothing to hide and sharing everything.
Yeah,
Just because you have nothing to hide doesn't mean that everyone needs to know everything. Right? There's a big difference between that.
yeah,
So, if for some reason, for instance, a date of birth or a city where you live is required for the registration, you could scratch your head and think, do I want them to know this? Is this really required for access to this system? Um, you can always decide to not do it. That's one thing. Or I'm not an advocate of it, but I'll just put it out there. Just insert bullshit.
yeah. Or check with your local law.
Are you required?
Yeah, because in the Netherlands we have a lot of information that we know. When you do business with government, then certain information has to be shared or is already pre-shared. But the same goes for hotels. They really need some information of you to make sure that that they can do what they have to do.
It depends. It depends,
Yeah,
and always be aware that specifically, if you go somewhere and they are asking you for a copy of your passport, a copy of your identity card, a copy of your driver's license, whatever, you are responsible for the data on that card. So if they create a copy and then someone wanders off and opens bank accounts with it, that's your problem. So be very careful where you put that information. Right? Never store copies of identity information on cloud accounts, on things like Dropbox or OneDrive or whatnot. Even if it is encrypted, we've seen if your account gets compromised and someone can enter it via the web, it will be unencrypted for them, and they can read it and they can abuse it. So just don't do it. Right? This just if you need it for something, create the copy, send it where it needs to go, and then delete it afterwards. Throw it off your OneDrive, your Dropbox, your whatever. Throw it out of the pictures of your iPhone, your Android phone,
yeah,
whatever. Now make sure it's gone, and that's just sane etiquette.
yeah. And don't post it to social media.
Definitely not.
No. Well, with that, I think we milked out the whole social media topic. I think it remains a hot topic. So perhaps in the future we'll talk about it again some way or another. But
Next
I,
topic is: do you have a hot tip?
I do have a hot tip. I like Snipd.
What is Snipd?
SNIPD. It's a sorry, yeah,
Dot.
.com. Well, Snipd is a podcast tool that where you can listen to podcasts. But the cool thing about this is you can make snippets. Probably Snipd is pronounced as snippet. But you can make a snippet of a podcast, and there's all cool kinds of AI behind it that will transcribe it and stuff like that. But the reason I like it is because Snipd is a podcast tool that I can use in my car with CarPlay. And when I listen to a podcast and I think this is something I want to revisit or remember or take notes of, well, in the car it's a bit hard. I can do it. I don't, and I shouldn't do it, but I
Keep
can.
both hands on the wheel.
Exactly. But in the interface of Snipd on CarPlay, there's a button you can push, and then it will mark where you did the where you pushed the button, so you can revisit it when you get back home or on the office. What did I hear? Where do I want to um, go back to on this recording? So I really like it.
All right.
Obviously, it's cost money if you want to use the AI part, but I used the free version and I really like it.
Very nice.
You don't
Okay.
have a tip, I think?
Nope, not today.
Not today. Next time then.
Probably.
What are we going to talk about next time then, besides your tip for the next time? I'm looking forward to it.
Next time we're going to talk about garden automation. How about that?
Oh, that's nice. I really want to know about it.
Can you automate your garden? You can.
Can I tweak the speed where my grass is growing? We'll see in the
Maybe.
next episode. We'll see in the next episode.
I think that's called fertilizer.
Okay, then.
All right, on that bombshell.
Hey, see you next time. Oh, before we go, don't forget to like us, subscribe. If you want to um, tell us something, please put it in the comments. It helps us. So, with that, I'm AJ.
I'm Alex.
See you next time.